If you thought South African politics couldn't get any more unpredictable, think again. Sport, Arts and Culture Minister and Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie is once again at the center of a storm, and this time it's about his own words from more than a decade ago. Old tweets containing racial slurs have resurfaced, sparking outrage and intense debate online. But Gayton's response? Let's just say it's not what most people expected. Instead of the usual political apology or public relations spin, McKenzie came out swinging. He said, "You can't put racism on me. I always tweeted as a black person. So who was I racist against?" That one sentence has been making waves across social media, igniting discussions about race, identity, and accountability in South African public life. The resurfaced tweets, reportedly posted over 10 years ago, contain language many see as deeply offensive. Critics argue that regardless of his racial identity, using such terms is harmful and sets a bad example, especially for someone holding a high-profile government position. But McKenzie isn't backing down. He's making the case that context matters, and that as a black man himself, the label of racist doesn't apply in the same way his opponents suggest. For his supporters, this is just Gayton being Gayton, straight-talking, unapologetic, and unwilling to bow to public pressure. They argue that the outrage is selective, pointing out that terms often considered offensive can be used differently within communities for cultural or expressive purposes. They see this as yet another attempt to dig up old dirt to discredit him politically. On the other side, critics say this is about more than identity. It's about leadership and responsibility. As a minister, they believe McKenzie should set a higher standard, not only in his current statements, but in addressing his past words. They argue that even if the tweets were made in a certain cultural context, the fact that they're now public and still offensive to many requires acknowledgement, at the very least a conversation about why such language is harmful. McKenzie, however, seems to be framing this controversy as part of a larger political battle. He has suggested that these resurfaced tweets are being weaponized by those who oppose his party or his role in government. By leaning into his identity and personal history, he's essentially challenging critics to rethink how they define racism and who gets to be called racist in South Africa's complex racial landscape. Whether you see his comments as defiant truth-telling or as a way to dodge accountability, one thing is clear. This incident has tapped into deeper issues about race, free speech, and political rivalry in the country. It's also a reminder of how quickly old social media posts can come back to haunt public figures, no matter how much time has passed. As the backlash continues, the real question is whether this controversy will fade like so many others in politics, or whether it will leave a lasting mark on McKenzie's reputation and career. For now, Gayton seems determined to stand his ground, betting that his unapologetic style will resonate more with his base than any apology ever could. One thing's for sure, love him or hate him, Gayton McKenzie knows how to keep himself in the headlines. And in South African politics, sometimes that's all that matters.
Of racial slurs, the K word used a lot. Let's first just find out. These are your tweets. You own them.
Yes, there's one or two. There's not mine. There's AI, but the majority of what I've seen, the ones you showed me now, those are my tweets.
So people are quite angry, of course, suggesting that you are racist. These are racial slurs. How would you respond to that?
All right. Explain to me first. Have I directed, using the word, have I directed it at somebody? Have I ever called anybody the K word in my life? Is there anybody that can come up? Number one, no, there's not. I had hundreds and thousands of followers. When those tweets came out that day, it was making a point, because I hate racism. I was making a point, and when I made that point, why was there no uproar? Why was there no complaint? Because now they are changing what I've said. Somebody there, I showed you now, somebody said, this word was, I'm the one that called that person to order. And where I used the words, why don't they go and check? It was the quotes of Gandhi.
One of the tweets suggests that words like Tendrapania and Black Diamond basically just describe you as a beta K word.
Yes.
Would you own that? That suggests 100%. That.
100%. Let me explain something to you. The first thing that Africans, the mistake they're making, they want to own this insult as exclusively African. It's not only them that's being called that. I grew up in the colored community. That's also insulting towards us. The word is not belonging to the African black exclusively. So it's not the insult alone. So when somebody says to me, and you must check the conversation before that, Mackenzie, you're a black diamond. I said, you're being racist. Why do you think I'm a better black? That is in the context. You can't take out the tweet of 15 years without context.
Are those tweets correct? In your position as a cabinet minister now, if you were to write those tweets this very moment, would you?
No, but I wasn't a cabinet minister. I was a socialite. I was a troll. I was a Twitter thing. There's a lot of things I look back today that I cringe to say, did I really say that? But racism, you can't put racism on me. I always tweeted as a black person. So who was I racist against? Against my mom? Against my children? Against myself? You see, my brother, let me tell you straight up two things very clearly. This thing has nothing to do with this. This is all politics. Let me tell you something. That's the first thing I want to say to you. This whole thing, they have to go back. This is a campaign against me. For you to go back 15 years and come here. If there's things I did 15 years ago, the president should fire me with some of those things that I did 15 years ago.
And those calls are mounting this very moment for you to go as a cabinet minister because of these tweets. How do you respond to that?
I think firstly, let me just make one thing clear. I didn't hire myself here. 2, President Ramaphosa hired me. If President Ramaphosa called me right now and he says, I want you to resign, I will never fight him. I will, within 5 minutes, he will have my resignation because I respect him. And after 5 days, you will not hear me have anything bad to say about him or the GNU because I believe in the president. I believe in the GNU. So I'm not those type of people. When you're inside, you just praise the president. I will continue to praise President Ramaphosa even when he asked me to resign. He hired me. You see, they mustn't, this for me is a job that I do. You can see you found me at work. I don't know how you found me, but I'm busy working here. I came here this morning, the whole day I was working.